Hello. Welcome back. Surprise, I'm back. Feeling a little flirty, decided to put a little splash on my face. I realize I have not worn eyeliner like this in a minute. How many of you have gone without makeup for quite a minute? I was just like, you know what? I was about to get into a big thing of yoga and got the call that you guys wanted me back, so thank you. And I was like, I have a couple of minutes, not enough time to shower, throw some stuff on my face. So when was the last time anyone out there actually used makeup? Huh? How long's it been? I want to know. Type in the comments. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cassandra Renee, and I normally host the first show of the day, Rise and Shine with me. And we do a morning meditation, we do some medicine cards, and then we get into some juicy stuff about how you can make the most of this quarantine and really start to achieve your goals. You don't have to wait until everything's open again. You can start to achieve them right now and take advantage of them. Well, this is your midday mindset shift. So who is with me? Who's here? I want to know who you are, where you're joining in from. Hey guys, and also let me know how your day's going, because if it's not going perfectly, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna see what we can do. So type in and let me know. So I always, in addition to pulling medicine cards, I always pull an oracle card. I've got a few different oracle decks. Hey guys, everyone's joining in. Happy midday. And I love one of my mentors, Danielle Laporte. She has these things called truth bombs, and I use them as daily oracle cards just to kind of, give myself a sense of direction for the day. And this one I thought would be a great one that I got this morning that would be great for a midday mindset shift. So let's tackle about it. It's be devoted to dreaming about your ideal life. Now, in the morning, during the 8-state meditation, if you guys join me at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll notice that in the 8-state meditation, one of the states is that we talk about what your ideal life is going to be like 3 years from now. And we also go into how you can have the perfect day. And you basically walk yourself through what your perfect day would be like. And so being that this is the midday mindset shift, if you started out and you did the meditation, whether you did the meditation or not, if you started out your day and then it just kind of going not exactly the way you had planned, this is a reminder that you can turn it around and still make the most of it, and for lack of a better term, turn lemons into lemonade, or better yet, limoncello and get drunk because it's quarantine. Why not? Actually, I think limoncello is disgusting. I've tried it a couple times, imported straight from Italy too, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not my drink. I don't like my alcohol fruity. But anyway, going back to be devoted to dreaming about your ideal life. Now, of course, there's two parts to this, right? You have to be able to envision it and dream it, and then you actually have to take steps to do it. And while we're in this quarantine, making the most of this whole thing, we can choose to either wallow in our pity and suffer and be sad, or we can choose to see the bright side of things, and there's always a bright side of things, and make the most of it. And a lot of you guys, especially those of you who are tuning in here, which, by the way, we just reached over 5,000 subscribers. What? That's amazing. Pat yourselves on the back, guys. Most of you people that are here are those that are looking for entertainment, but also looking to make the best of the situation, right? Well, then there's a really good chunk of you guys who are also looking to just improve. Like, okay, we got ourselves into the situation. What can we learn from it? How can we progress and go further? And take a look at those questions, and then also take a look at the things that you've been dreaming up. Now, hopefully, since we've been in quarantine for most of us over a week now, many of you 2 weeks, what actionable steps have you taken so far to actually implement and set yourself up for the things that you wanted to do pre-quarantine? So what are some goals? And type in the comments, let me know so that I can help work with you on this and give you actual steps. Because me talking, it can go so far. But if you guys interact with me, then I can totally give you some right on the spot coaching and advice. You can take steps. We've all got problems. We've all got issues. And hopefully we also all have goals. And I'm here to help you with those. So how has your day been going? Mine has been going better and better every day, which is awesome. I hope you guys can say the same. So be devoted to dreaming about your ideal life. What are the things that you dream of, and where do you want to go from here? What are the things that you want to do? Where do you want to be? And you can say, in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years, in 1, but what if right out of quarantine? It might sound impossible, but if you ever listen to Grant Cardone and his 10X rule, basically the principle of that is set your goals so much bigger than what is practical, because if you limit yourself, you're probably not even going to achieve that. But if you extend your goals way, way, way out, you're probably not going to achieve those either, but you're more likely to achieve even greater than if you said, oh, well, this is my goal right here. So I want to know what your goals are and dream big. And you want to keep that goal in mind. You want to keep harboring it. Yesterday in my session, I talked about creating vision boards. Awesome way to keep your eye on the prize, right? Like to keep visualizing and keep focusing on the things that you want. And I'm going to give you another little tip that I didn't give in that, which is kind of a neat way to do things. And also for all of you, myself included, who keep constant trips to that thing back there, the fridge. Now that we're in quarantine, we walk by it like 20 times a day and we access it about 9 to 15 times a day. What a really cool way to keep focusing on the things that you desire, especially if you're someone like me who has multiple passions and multiple desires. This is a great thing that you can do. You can get a jar or a big mug or even a bowl or a fish bowl. Those all work really well. And you can get creative with it and cut up like different colors of paper and whatnot. But basically what you want to do is you want to write down that dream, that goal, that vision, and you put it in that bowl. And every single time you walk by that, just like, every single time you walk by the fridge, you gotta open it and see if anything's changed. Every time you walk by that bowl, stick your hand in, kind of swirl it around and pick up one of those things. Look at it, hold that vision in your head for a couple of seconds, really feel into it. And well, now that we're in quarantine, you can probably hold that vision in a little longer than a few seconds. But just kind of look at that, remember, oh, right, that's my goal. And you can put it back in. Now, that is great for us in quarantine. So that way, when we're walking by, it's just one other thing that we can do to really keep these goals in mind. So whether it's, get my business off the ground, or whether it's, you don't want to do to-do things on there. This is a dream jar. So once you have your dream set, then you can go and journal and write out the next steps and make a whole schedule and a plan, sure. But the dream jar is great so that it keeps you focused on the things that matter most. Or if you go back and watch the other video from yesterday, a vision board that you can look at in a very, all the time. The point is to keep these in places that you'll constantly be in contact with them so that you'll see them to reinforce it. Now, since this is the midday mindset, going along with that same theme, you can do the same thing as far as positive quotes and things that keep you motivated, pictures of people and things that, that you would just be like, oh, right, grandma's going to get on my ass if I don't do this. Or, yes, that is exactly what I want. I got to do this. So you can really get that mind going in all facets to program you and to give you a little lift. When you go back to work, or if you have a home office, Post-it notes, having those around with little sayings and great job, or you've done it, or something like that. Those are useful. But what's even more useful is writing as though it has been done. I love my new house. I love all of the new clients I have. When you have it like that, that's going to stir the motivation up even more than just new house, new job, more clients. If they're vague, they're not going to be as motivating. Now, you might write them down in a quick moment so that you're like, okay, these are all the things that I'm going to focus on, and then go back later to write them out specifically. That's fine. But if you leave them vague like that, they're always going to be vague, both in here and in reality. And that's a big reason why so many people don't accomplish their goals, because they don't write them down and they're too vague. So going along with your mindset, thinking about the things that you want. And maybe it's just don't kill the kids. Or maybe it's, don't debark my dog, just for sanity's sake right now. It could be something like that. But more to speak to those levels, maybe I love that I get to see my kids more. I love that I get to be with my dogs more. So focus on the positive sides of that versus not going to kill him, not going to kill him, not going to kill him. And that'll help you get through this quarantine period. Another really great exercise that you can do, and I've done this for a very long time, is you take out your phone and you set alarms. And on these alarms, most people, it took me years to have a cell phone before I realized it was capable of this, but you can actually set descriptions of what the alarms are on. Especially if you're millennials, you're probably like, yeah, you dummy. Well, I'm low key on technology, all right? And I'm not a millennial, even though I look like it. But what you can do is you can set on your phone, on the alarms, little quotes like, keep going, you've got this, or you're almost there, or just so you know I love you. Even something like that, it might be corny typing that into yourself, but it works. Here's the thing. Even when that alarm goes off, and when I had these going on my phone at whatever time it was, 1:11 in the afternoon, my alarm would always go off and it said, you are financially abundant, or you are loved, or whatever the affirmation was that I programmed into my phone to go off. Let's say I'm in the middle of the day and I'm busy and I just ignore it, right? Just swipe it the alarm, and I don't even look at it. Enough times you will have looked at it prior to that alarm going off. And so even though you're not looking at it, that alarm goes off, and subconsciously it goes right into your brain. You're loved, you're financially abundant, you're successful, all these things. And so without you being conscious of it, your subconscious is like, oh yeah, thanks for the pep talk, phone. Got it. Yeah, I am awesome. Let's do this. And that's how you go through your day with extra energy and extra motivation. And that's where the other creative ideas come from. Like writing yourself a list of your goals and what you want to accomplish and what you want to focus on. I threw this makeup on way too quickly. That's all right. I'm going to go do yoga and then shower. So that's why I didn't put my setting spray on. But that's how your brain comes up with creative ideas overnight. That's why most of you, when you wake up, you've got this creative energy. Now, not everybody. Sometimes it takes a few cups of coffee to get going. But you are more reset and energized after a good night's sleep. So when you're programming these things into your mind by having these cards around your home, by having these reminders set up on your phone, whether you look at them or not, your subconscious is processing them, and that helps. Have any of you guys seen the movie Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie? That movie, spoiler alert, I won't spoil it because it's actually a really good movie, so you should totally go watch it. But I will say, towards the end, basically everything happens through subconscious programming. And when you look at it, you're like, what? No way. It's all fiction. That doesn't really happen. But it really does. Look at any successful, I shouldn't say successful athlete, but any long-term successful athlete, any long-term successful icon, They do these things, guys. They have these things around in their awareness all the time. And you know what else they do? They get rid of all the crap that doesn't serve them. Psychologically, physically, surroundings, all of that stuff. If it's not serving their best interests, they nix it. Hey, Christina. Lovely, lovely lady. Thanks for joining in. Who else is here? I saw Belle checked in a little bit. Awesome. Hi, Belle. Who else is watching? Is some of this kind of helping for what you've caught about different little tips and tricks that you can make to get going, be happier, and accomplish goals? If not, I suck. You should probably kick me off. I hope not, because these have all worked for me. And I'll tell you what, even as a self-love coach, a transformational breakthrough coach, even though doing this, when I slip up, let's say I go on vacation, I don't meditate for a few days, or I don't have my affirmations around me or something, I've noticed in my own personal life, I can go a maximum of like 3 days. After about 3 days, I get grumpy, I get hangry, things start to kind of fall apart. And it kind of goes to that whole concept of, can I really control my reality? And I believe you can, because I know when I don't do the things that I'm telling you guys about, stuff starts slipping. And actually, so I recently just listened to all of the 10X rule on Audible, and that's why it's kind of at the forefront of my mind right now. And he talks about where the lucky constantly are lucky and the unlucky are constantly unlucky. And if you go back and watch my episode from this morning, if not, go watch it. I also talk about how the gratitude, right? What you focus on grows. What you appreciate appreciates, just like negative things, right? And so when you are focusing on the concept of, I always get lucky, I always do this, and when you make something an always for yourself, it actually will be always. I mean, why would you say always if it didn't always happen, right? Just like in the converse, negative. And I'm actually going to go deeper into this in tomorrow's episode. So if you can get up super early, rise and shine with me, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, all the videos will be here on the Quarantine Network and also on my page right over here. It's Cassandra Renee. But just the same as when you say something never happens to me. So I also, I run events in Las Vegas. I run all the events for I'm not going to put them on blast, but a big car company. And sometimes when I run the events, we have these contests people can enter, which, speaking of, I have a contest as well going on. So go look at the notes over here and see how you can enter to win this contest. But so often people will go to enter the contest and they're just like, the spouse will go to enter and the other spouse is like, no. I'm like, oh, why don't you enter? Nah, I never win anything. You don't say. And my response is always, well, not with that attitude, you won't. And it's so true. His attitude, his very thought of not saying, I'm not lucky, I don't win things, so I'm not going to bother. Well, you just guaranteed your spot in the loser section there, buddy, because if you don't enter, you can't win. Literally impossible. 0 chances, 0 opportunities. So it's that perpetual thinking. Just like the same person who always wins stuff, guess what? That person's going to come and sign up and enter that contest, aren't they? Because it's just their given truth. So think about all the crap you talk about yourself. And right now, this is why we're doing the midday mindset, because you probably have shit-talked yourself into I was going to have the salad, but fuck it, that cookie looks really good moment, right? Because your willpower is depleting. That's why when you're working with being conscious about the words around you, the people around you, your surroundings, you're reinforcing, you're strengthening that muscle, that willpower muscle, that self-control muscle, that what my truth is muscle. And I'll tell you a story. My grandfather did this. And by the way, he's left us for a few years now, but today is my grandfather's birthday. I think he would have been like 98, 99. or something. So happy birthday, Papa. I love you. But he played this game with me when I was a little kid, before I could even drive. And when he actually was the person who took me driving and taught me how to drive when I got older. And well, reminiscing a little bit, I also drove tractors with him. I think that was the first thing I ever drove, was a tractor with my papa. Anywho, he would always say, have you ever noticed I always get a really good parking spot? Now, he didn't have a handicap thing on his mirror. And I'm just like, you know what? You do. That's part of why I love going out with you. Like, we always get really good parking spots. And he's like, you can do that too. So when I started driving, I played around with that. And so I started driving in upstate New York, where I'm from. We actually can get our driver's license at 16. Well, we could. I think it's since changed. But when I was young, back in my day, I got my license a few months after turning 16. I had to have my permit for a certain amount of months, and then get my driver's license. So literally more than half of my life, I'm 34 years old now, soon to be 35 in a couple months. So literally more than half of my life at this point, I have been driving. And I can honestly say that I always do get amazing parking spots. Now, it's two different sides. There's two different reasons for this. One, looking on the bright side. So let's say you get a less than ideal spot. You condition yourself. I'm grateful for this spot. I got this spot. You know what? Yeah, now I get to put in a little bit extra cardio today because I wasn't planning on walking. It's mindset there, right? But you make that mindset permanent and you repeat it and reinforce it over and over and over, and it becomes your truth. Just the same as I always stub my toe on that damn fill in the blank, right? Yeah, you're going to always step on it if that's what you tell yourself. And so I told myself, I took Grandpa's advice, and I said, I always get a good parking spot. Even when I didn't really get the best parking spot, I always get an amazing parking spot. I always get an amazing parking spot. And now for more than half of my driving career, literally more than half of my life, I always get the best parking spots. Sometimes I have to wait a little bit, but I always get it. Now, the other half to that equation, not just the outlook on it and practicing gratitude, but the other portion to that is that I have made it my truth. I've practiced gratitude enough times, and sometimes I get a reminder that, hey, you should probably start taking into account this thing that you're grateful for and that thing too. And I'm reminded to just pause, wait, no, I am grateful. This is my truth. It's always true for me. So I'm just going to give it a second, and one of these cars is going to move. And they do. So it's not necessarily, do I believe that psychic abilities exist? Of course. Do I have some? That's a topic for another day. But it's not about that. It's really about making something your truth. If you always finish first, if you always, fill in the blank. And I want to know, guys that are watching, what is an always for you? And on the same flip side, what's a never for you? What's a never for you that you want to turn into? Because some nevers should stay nevers. Like I never get sick. I never, get a traffic ticket. Like those nevers should stay nevers. But what are some nevers for you that you would love to change into let's start small even, a sometimes. And just like with that 10X rule, start it out. Don't limit yourself to sometimes. Say always. This always happens because it's not going to always happen for you initially, but if you keep reinforcing the thing that never happens that you would love to be an always, keep saying it always happens. It always happens. It always happens. Regardless of what the outcome is, it always happens because eventually it will always happen. Make sense? And you can do the same thing for the always with the never. Like I said, I'll go into this in more detail about the origin and why this is the thing. So I'm kind of glazing over this to save some for later. Don't give it all away. Gosh. But the same thing with always, right? When you say always, but you wish it was a never or not always, like I always stub my toe on that piece of furniture, Wouldn't it be great if you never stubbed your toe on that piece of furniture? So maybe the next time an always happens to you that you don't want to be an always, maybe in that moment of that never happens to me. You might sound like a crazy person, but it's just that crazy mindset that's going to shift you out so that it actually does never happen to you. Or I'm sorry, that never happens to me. That never happens to me. You get what I'm saying, right? All right, so I've got about 5 minutes left and I want to hear from you guys. Was this helpful? What are some things that you're dealing with that you would like to have a reframe on, to switch it up? Maybe some encouragement. What do you got going on? Let me help you. Help me help you, please. I'll give you a moment. Let's see if somebody messaged me here. See if someone has a thing going on. Nope. Not a thing. While I'm waiting for you guys to message me in, heads up, I am going to be back again tomorrow morning, like I said, bright and early for the Rise and Shine with Cassandra Renee. That is 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be back again for another Midday Mindset tomorrow tomorrow is actually going to be a little bit earlier. Tomorrow it's going to be at 11:05. Getting real specific here. But yeah, it'll be 11:05 to 11:30. So you'll be able to catch another a midday mindset shift with me tomorrow afternoon as well. And if this is of interest to you, if you guys need more clarity on things, you're not really sure, or you want me to elaborate more on something, or if you're just like, hey, can you help me with this? Or I've got this thing, as long as it's not contagious, I'm all about it. Now, negativity is contagious, and I'm all about working with that too. But, you know, the whole disease thing that we got going on, I don't want any of that. And that's why I work virtually. Kind of brilliant. But no, seriously, if you guys have any questions, if you have anything that you want to work through, I see all the hearts. Thank you. If you have questions, something that's been going on and you don't know who to turn to, you don't know who to talk to, I'm available. That's what I'm doing for you guys. I'm holding space here. And so go ahead and you can DM me, or you can email me, wildblossombeacon@yahoo.com. If you want more information on any of the options I have available, you can head over to wildblossombeacon.com. And I've got a bunch of stuff about me, my programs, what I offer, and I've got a slew of discounts because my goal is to work with as many of you as possible, because the world's hurting and it's okay to hurt. But once you're hurting, it's your choice to stay there or not. And so often we choose to suffer. We choose to hang out in this sucks mode. And it takes a lot more action and energy and kinetic energy to get up and move. Just like with working out, that is not the first thing you want to do in the morning when it's chilly out and you're nice and comfy and warm, cuddled up and under the covers, especially with the new sheets that I bought, because those are comfy. But it's that exercising, that like building that momentum to get going. It's that warming up, and just being here, just tuning in is already that first step in the right direction of warming up and priming your mind for success, and not going crazy and strangling the kids or the dogs, because you get to see what they're like 24 hours a day. So if you have any questions like that, feel free to message me, and I'm more than happy to see what I can do for you and how I can best serve you. So if no one has any questions at this time, I'm just going to remind you, earlier on this segment, I said, be devoted to dreaming about your ideal life. It's my oracle card today from Danielle Laporte. And yeah, keep holding in mind. And if you're just tuning in, go back to the beginning of this video for tips on what you can do to keep your big goals in mind and keep them at the front of your mind as we go through this quarantine and beyond. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. And just make sure, cough into your elbow, wash your hands, and stay home. Love you guys.